James is talking about Grant, and that's his meal for today with the latte. So I like the latte with this soy milk in it, and James might want to put the nacho crumbs on his salad. That's always good on a taco salad. We're going to talk about Songbird a little bit. I have talked about it in the past. It's
a TV show?
Movie.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to talk about these Wizard of Oz sort of movies.
Makes and remakes?
And then I'll just return them. So I'm going to show you something. So this is the turmeric latte that James is drinking. He's drinking it with coffee cream. And
that's why it's a different kind of taste. Yeah.
I got these seeds from the library, and this one, like the library packaged them this year, and it says it's dark opal basil, which I really wanted, and I opened it up.
And it's not?
No, not at all. It's some sort of squash.
Someone blew it.
So, which I found funny. So I will grow them this year and find out what they were, or what they are. But
no
anyway.
Returns policy. That was free. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So yeah, you get 5 new seeds packages free
from
the library every year or something. Anyway, so I got these old ones, and this one I think might grow. The sage, we'll see, because it was sold by the 16th. So this was 2015 seed. But some of these other ones, it'd be cool if they did grow, but some of them are very, very old. Like this one was 2012, I think, seed. Packed for 2013, so that was 2012 seed. Same with this one, so that's 2012 seed. And same with this one. And this one's even older. This is 2011 seed because it's packed for 2012. So I don't know if these ones are going to grow.
But you're going to give them a chance.
But I'm going to give them a chance. So
the plants usually are very optimistic.
I have a headache today, so I don't know how much talking I'm going to do. But anyway, I think it's because I'm drinking too much of this. But I don't know.
It could be.
It's just, I mean, a person shouldn't have too much of anything.
Now, you said there was coffee cream in it, but that's not cream with coffee in it. It's just cream for coffee, right?
Yeah. It's just, it's, I think, 18% milk fat or something. It's quite fatty. So I think you'll enjoy it more. I don't know. I think the reason you weren't enjoying it is because you don't like the soy milk as much.
No, I was enjoying it. Okay, it's just I can only drink so much. So Pauline actually gave me more than I asked for. It's not bad. Believe me, it's not like drinking straight turmeric mixed with water or whatever. That stuff is it's a real trial.
Yeah.
But if you add stuff to it, you can ameliorate the effect. Pauline really likes the taste.
Well, not of turmeric. I like the taste of this stuff. This stuff. Anyway, so you'll notice I have some potting mix beside me. We went to Canadian Tire yesterday. I got it, and then right when I was putting it in the vehicle, I looked over and they had their section set out that they put out for the spring and summer, where they have the bales of peat moss. And I was like, oh, I should have bought a bale of peat moss, but because I'll use it, and I know I will, and it's way cheaper to get it that way. Anyway, so I guess I'll start by talking about Songbird, which I got it from the library because I was like, I was missing watching movies and TV and stuff. I haven't been watching a lot lately. I've kept the Wizard of Oz stuff back to talk about it, but I haven't been watching anymore for a while. So anyway, this one was put out in 2020, and it's the United States is in its 4th year of lockdown. It's about a devastating pandemic that ravages the world. And anyway.
This came out before or after a certain...
It came out in 2020.
No, a certain... Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
it could have been before or after, about the same. Probably lead-up time, it was started before. Anyway, before a certain plague that may or may not have happened.
But anyway, this movie, it has Demi Moore in it and stuff like that. And I don't know why I'd forgotten it, that I'd already watched it, but I had. And it's really not worth watching. I don't know. I guess you can watch it and go, well, could things like this have led to people breaking quarantine and getting out and doing demonstrations and everything during? Maybe so. You know, because they watch this in 2020 and they're like, 4th year of lockdown? No way we're going to put up with that, right? Maybe that attributed to it. And in that case, you can watch something like this and go, well, is it propaganda that's just made to get people to break lockdown and stuff like that? And they were talking about, in this, they're talking about people are immune if they...
Forever and ever, amen.
Or, yeah, if they don't
Basically,
get symptoms and whatever, and it's like...
Does it happen with flu? You can catch it twice a year or more.
But, and so, again, would people have been watching this and thinking, oh, well, I'm immune. I can go out, because in reality, they weren't immune, they were carriers. I remember somebody years ago, I worked with her, she was studying to be a lawyer, if I remember correctly, and she was a nice person. She was a lovely person, so honestly too nice to be a lawyer, I think. But I hope everything worked out for her.
Yeah, I always wonder about people who want lawyers.
But she was working with me, and anytime somebody would come to work sick, I would get sick. And so my system wouldn't fight it off. And so she called me Typhoid Mary. And I didn't correct her, but I wanted to say, no, Typhoid Mary was a carrier. She didn't get sick.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. She thought, like these people, oh, I'm immune or whatever, and she would just keep spreading it around. So I was like, no, I'm the opposite.
Yeah, she was a bad person. And because people were telling her, you can't go around. But she just kept on going around,
Yeah.
spreading around. Yeah. But nowadays, people are heroes for going around and breaking quarantine and not wearing masks and stuff like that. Ran into a guy from Alaska walking his dog illegally in Waterton, hiking his dog. In other words, the dog wasn't on a leash.
Well.
And it was just an absolute. It seemed like the way he was putting it was the worst crime against humanity ever committed, requiring people to wear masks. And I go, wow, I was sitting there thinking, I was. He had the dog off leash. He could have sicked. It was a big dog. Could have sicked it on me and done all sorts of damage. And he was pretty aggressive, and just verbal. But I was sitting there thinking, man, think of all the rights trampled on by people who caught the bug and died, wearing a mask or dying, and balance that off. Folks like that don't understand freedoms. Societies will take away the freedom of young men not to go to war for them and risk their lives and actually sacrifice their lives for that society. And in the case of democracy, the society has a right to them, to do that, to conscript or to draft. Freedom involves the possibility of changing laws. It's not the actual laws generally. It's the ability to change the laws. That's what these free dumb people don't understand. And the last syllable is spelled D-U-M-M, which is actually the way Germans spell dumb. I wonder if we get that from them. Dumb.
Like dummy.
Yeah, dummy too. Yeah. Dumm is probably how they say it. Anyway, there are certain laws, I suppose, laws that require certain people to be slaves that are bad infringements of horrible infringements of freedom and so on and so forth. But in a democracy, that by definition wouldn't be a democracy. Anyway, go on.
So in this movie, there's really no good guys. They're all either bad or stupid or both.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's
that overlap, isn't there?
One child the child is innocent, so can't. It's not the child's fault one way or the other, whatever. But and I suppose there's workers wearing the hazmat suits and whatever. They're doing their job. They're not good or bad or whatever. They're just there. But the characters in this, that the story is told by, they're awful, really. We're supposed to follow this bicycle courier guy and think, oh, well, he's a hero because he's trying to get these immunity bracelets for the young woman that he loves and her mother who's sick, so that they can go out. What? She's sick. That's not a good person that wants to get immunity bracelets for a sick person, so that anyway. So anyway, I watched this and I think this is a propaganda film. That maybe it was even commissioned by whoever was involved with spreading the thing in the first place to get people out. It's ridiculous. So we're going to talk about Wizard of Oz, and then James is going to talk about Ulysses. So
Well, the Civil War.
yeah. So I was going to sing some songs for you, but I don't think I can. My head hurts too bad. So, I was talking about the great music in The Wizard of Oz, and the music was written by Harold Arlen, and the lyrics E.Y. Harburg, which is Yip Harburg. That was his nickname, was Yip. And anyway, it's great. Both the music and the lyrics, they work. They're very memorable. Like, I have the lyrics to "We're Off to See the Wizard," and I mean those lyrics aren't that great, but it's the "We're Off" part that's awesome, right? And the Wonderful Wizard, skipping along that. But "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," that's a terrific song. And when I watched in the second disc of this, where I guess Yip was asked where he came, or how he came up with "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," he said that he was thinking of how Dorothy, the only color, everything was gray, so the only color she would have seen was the rainbow, and so he wanted to have a song about that, right? And I thought that was beautiful to think of that. It just made it a more powerful song, and I think that's why the song works so well. So a lot of people don't write music or lyrics thinking about how it's going to move a person or whatever, and especially with musicals, it has to carry you along with it. You have to become a part of it, sort of, while you're watching it. and afterwards. You have to keep thinking about it, and it's a part of your. It's become a part of your life. It's something powerful. So, and both the person working on the music and the lyrics with this, they managed to pull it off. They did it right. Whereas in the others, they did not. The others that I have here, Wicked and Wiz, they did not pull it off. The Wiz, like I was talking about, Ease On Down the Road. Well, that's the only lyrics that I remember from the song. Ease on down the road. Yeah, that's all I remember. So that's not enough.
It's all looks worth it.
And maybe it is, because that's all the, and that's, I mean, it's enough to get you started, but it doesn't really carry you along very far, right?
And one of the problems is it actually Ease On Down the Road?
Yeah.
But it's a staccato rhythm, right? Do you know what staccato means? Da, 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 da. You know, it's just kind of jumpy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now try to say ease in a staccato fashion. We can't do it because there's no stops in it. You notice how staccato has a T sound and a K sound? Spelled with two C's. Well, it's actually staccato in Italian, something like that. Well, it actually has two T sounds, and then really, strictly speaking, two K sounds. And ease doesn't have it. I always thought it was get on down the road. See how get has got a T in it? And G is a stop too. It's just
yeah,
not.
You're right. Get would have been better.
Yeah. And I was actually in my head to improve it. It doesn't say ease on down.
No.
That's stupid. Who wrote that? And
So,
you
yeah,
can come up with
that's
something that may be better than get, because get is voiced. You know. But the thing is, you can't say G forever. You know. But you can say E, and you can say Z for as long as your breath holds. They're called continuous. So, yeah. I'm amazed when you said that. When you say it, ease on down the road. I always heard get on down the road. So I was editing.
Well, that's not what it was.
And there you go.
So,
I believe you. You know.
And if you think about the rhythm in The Wizard of Oz, it's a mixed rhythm. So James could pound it out for you, but if you want to.
Many different types of rhythms. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, it's repeated, but it's like somewhere over the rainbow. You see, there was
the rhythm of the actual, like if you were putting on paper the reverse. Yeah, it's I can pretty well guarantee you the music was written first, and then the lyrics were written to the music. These things happen. Tim Rice and what's the name of that famous guy who did Cats and all, Andrew Lloyd Webber. They generally work that way. There was one thing from Jesus Christ Superstar was sung by Yvonne Elliman before she got the big hit with the Bee Gees Saturday Night Fever many years later, 7 years later or something like that. It goes, I don't know how to him. I can't do it because she's not a great. Anyway, so it's about, I guess, Mary Magdalene maybe singing about Jesus. But originally, the tune was written for something else. It was Some Morning in Kansas City or something like that. I don't know if it was appropriate for those kind of lyrics, or the lyrics were appropriate for the music. Anyway, it seems to be more likely that you're getting more rhythmic vitality or variety if you go from the music to the lyrics. That's one of the problems with some of John Lennon's stuff. Sometimes he'd write the lyrics first, and then compose the music afterwards. And the rhythm tends to be kind of a little bit like metronome. It was a boy's name, was Jim. There are faces I remember all my life. So apparently he wrote those lyrics first. Pauline writes her lyrics first and stuff like that. It's a tough thing to do. But what I do is actually try to come up with really complicated rhythms.
I've been trying to do it your way, writing coming up with the music and then putting lyrics.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well,
when you look at someone like Hal David, who wrote with Burt Bacharach.
I don't know how to write music, so then I have to, what I do is I'll record a little tune into the camera and then I'll play it back and try to do something with it, but I don't know. Anyway.
Well, that's how most rock and rollers work. I think Paul McCartney had a good enough memory for tunes that it wouldn't work that way.
But anyway, with Somewhere Over the Rainbow, what I was saying is that it starts out strong, somewhere over the rainbow, right? So, same with Ease On Down. It starts out strong. And I like it when it starts out strong like that. I think it works better.
On the downbeat.
But
so I think it goes ease on down the road, something like that. Right?
Yeah. But
so both eases are emphasized. The first one more than the second one. I think it's 4/4 time, something like that.
But with Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the rhythm changes along there. So you have 1, 2, 0, 2, 3, rainbow. Like that, right? So it's not. So it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
And yet that more interesting pattern is repeated. There's a land that I've heard of once in a while. It's repeated all the way through, right? So, and then there's a chorus and whatever. Do you see what I'm saying?
There's a land that I heard of once in a while. Well, the third line is a bit different, but the first two lines are verse-wise the same.
You're right. Yeah, that does change a bit there. Once in a lullaby. And then Somewhere Over the Rainbow, skies are blue is like way up high.
Well, you expect that in a second verse. You expect it to basically follow the first verse, but so way up high, once in a lullaby, that's got a different rhythm. But yeah, the first line and the third line, they've got the same rhythm and actually slightly different melody, but that's what good melody makers do. They don't, when they've got a repeated line rhythmically, they change the melody. Paul McCartney was good for doing that. Brian Wilson was good for doing that. Brian Wilson with the Beach Boys, who wrote the music to most of their good stuff. Well, all of the good stuff. Kokomo is not great stuff.
So I will mention that I have planted these seeds. I don't know if they'll come up, and I don't actually expect that they will be productive plants this year, even if I do have some that come off by some miracle, right? So they're more of an experiment, but I'm still thankful for them. I'm maybe thankful for those than the rest of the free seeds I got from the library. So anyway, I don't know if you want to say anything else about the Wizard of Oz, or if you just want to go into...
I'll go ahead and start off with Ulysses.
Okay.
I think it's Simpson, Graham. Maybe Simpson's a version of Samson. I don't know.
Well, you have about 5 minutes to get her started.
Well, his parents gave him an amazing name, especially if his middle name was Simpson, because Ulysses is a big hero of Greek myth. It's really legend, and I can pretty well guarantee Ulysses was in the Iliad and the Odyssey too. Particularly the Odyssey was based on a real historical figure. I found King Priam in the Hittite records, and in the cuneiform script, there's going to be a few changes, and there's nothing that says the Greeks got the name right either. And found Menelaus, who was a hero mentioned in the Iliad several times. I've found him in the Hittite records, mentioned by his patronymic. See if you can figure out what that means. Anyway, and then Simpson, I think, is a version of Samson, and he was this is more a mythic or legendary type of figure in the Old Testament. And grand actually means grand, as in big or great or something like that. Grand. So, folks, you're looking. I mean, this is a face that about which it could almost be said only a mother could love. But you're looking at probably one of the top 10 greatest or grandest or grandest generals in the whole history of the world. So in my books, he's grander than Alexander the Great. Alexander the Grand. Definitely grander than Napoleon or Hitler or Lenin or Stalin or Mao. Lots of people when I was a kid. Probably is John Ralston Saul probably still is the worship at the bloody feet of Mao. Mao was not a great military leader. It's easy to win using revolutionary terrorism when you're swimming. You know, like what was it Mao said? You gotta swim. You got, like the countryside's got to be like the sea, and you got to swim in it. Yeah, what he didn't mention, he's got to be a shark, and you got to have all the other fishes in the sea scared to death of you, literally to death of you. And it's easy to win in those situations when you're doing revolutionary terror, especially with people who are totally innocent, peasants. I don't really care one way or another about. I haven't been brutalized by capitalists, stuff like that. They don't care one way or another about revolution, but they do once they've been subjected to revolutionary terrorism. And the thing is, like Mao won. Napoleon won a lot of victories. But this guy, I can think of two other guys that rank up there with this guy. Great military leaders, George Washington and William of Orange. Because they won, and then they didn't take over as dictators. Unlike Napoleon, Alexander the Great, the whole idea is never fight a war you don't have to. Don't go out and visit war on people who aren't asking for it.
You have 40 seconds.
So George Washington, after he won the War of Independence, he could have set himself up as a dictator, as so many revolutionary, all of them have done. His predecessor, William of Orange, could have set himself up as dictator of England, but he basically started England off as on the pathway of democracy. It took a long time to get everyone voting for it. It wasn't until after World War I, actually, many years after William of Orange said women got to vote, for example, in England. But Ulysses S. Grant, he eventually served as president of the United States. People asked him to go